Who path where I walk, men have hidden a snare for me. Look to my right and see. No one is concerned for me. I have no refuge. No one cares for my life. I cry to you, O Lord. I say, you are my refuge, my portion in the land of the living. And listen to my cry, for I am in desperate need. Rescue me from those who pursue me, for they are too strong for me. Set me free from my prison, that I may praise your name. Then the righteous will gather about me because of your goodness for me, to me. Psalm 57, verses 1 to 11. Let's read this together. For the director of music, to the tune of Do Not Destroy, of David, a miktam, when he had fled from Saul into the cave. Have mercy on me, O God, have mercy on me, for in you my soul takes refuge. I will take refuge in the shadow of your wings until the disaster has passed. I cry out to God Most High, to God who fulfills his purpose for me. He sends from heaven and saves me, rebuking those who hotly pursue me. Selah. God sends his love and his faithfulness. I am in the midst of lions. I lie among ravenous beasts, men whose teeth are spears and arrows, whose tongues are sharp swords. Be exalted, O God, above the heavens. Let your glory be over all the earth. They spread a net for my feet. I was bowed down in distress. They dug a pit in my path, but they have fallen into it themselves. Selah. My heart is steadfast, O God. My heart is steadfast. I will sing and make music. Awake, my soul. Awake, harp and lyre. And I will awaken the dawn. I will praise you, O Lord, among the nations. I will sing of you among the peoples. For great is your love, reaching to the heavens. Your faithfulness reaches to the skies. And be exalted, O God, above the heavens. Let your glory be over all the earth. You may take your seats. Now, let's have a look at these two Psalms. And there are three things that we will find here that David is doing in the darkest moments of his life while he was in the cave. Number one, you will see from these two Psalms that David never gave up on God. Never. If you notice, both Psalms begin with a cry for help. In verse 1, it says, I cry aloud to the Lord, I lift up my voice to the Lord for mercy. In verse 5, I cry to you, O Lord, I say, you are my refuge, my portion in the land of the living. Listen to my cry, for I am in desperate need. Rescue me from those who pursue me, for they are too strong for me. In Psalm 57, here's what it says. Have mercy on me, O God, have mercy on me, for in you my soul takes refuge. I will take refuge in the shadow of your wings until the disaster has passed. I cry out to God Most High, to God who fulfills his purpose for me. Notice David. The beginning of these two Psalms, what do we find him? He just cries out and pours himself to God. Charles Spurgeon, when he observes this prayer, he says this. He says, the caves have heard the best prayers. Isn't that true? When you are in the cave, when things have been removed from you, you cry out to God your best prayers. Now, we don't know how David was, what cave he stayed in. We don't know how big or how small the cave was, but I'm pretty sure he was not ready to hang a home sweet home sign in there, right? We don't know if he had a torch or an oil lamp, but here he was. In this cave, he was trapped. He was helpless. And this was definitely not what he envisioned when he was a teenager, when Samuel anointed him to be the next king, right? After all, kings lived where? In palaces. Kings will have servants. They will have good food. They do not live in caves. This was more like a prison than a palace for him, right? But here he was, in the cave. And in these two Psalms that he writes when he was in the cave, the first words that come out of his mouth was a cry for help. Lord, I cry aloud. I lift up my voice to you. I cry to my God Most High. Listen to my cry, for I am in this desperate need. Do you notice the personal pronouns that you will find in these Psalms? And they will continue throughout the Psalms. This shows to us that David's faith was very personal. And that's what we see in every biblical character who were used by God. Faith is personal. Our faith in God must be a personal faith. If you've been coming to church and you're thinking, you know what, I've come to church because my parents brought me to church, let me remind you, your parents' faith won't do when you find yourself in the cave. Your spouse's faith is good for your spouse, but it won't get you through dark, difficult times in life. You must know God personally. You must repent personally. You must come to Jesus Christ personally.